Good morning. Christmas is just a few days away. Christmas is a day that means different things to different people. While many celebrate with trees and tinsel, to Christians it's one of the most important days of the year. For many of us, Christmas is about memories, and that's the theme of our show this morning. We're going to be sharing some memories with you. Memories of mine, as well as Christmas memories from others. It all begins right now.
From TV6, this is The Ryan Report. Here's your host, Don Ryan.
Well, today our first Christmas memory includes some members of the news department who worked in front of the camera, as well as some who worked behind the scenes. Some have also since moved on to new assignments. But they came together a couple of years ago as TV6's Merry Christmas Carolers to wish us a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding and a cup of good cheer. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring some out here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Great way to start the day. Very interesting group. Back to our Christmas memories. You know, of all the closing thoughts I've shared over the years, none received a bigger reaction than the story of the man from Trenary who got tangled up in the Marquette roundabouts. Well, that led me to write several other stories about this special character, including this story about the man from Trenary's Christmas tree. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and in each and every house the folks in Trenary were quiet as a mouse. Their stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that Santa Claus soon would be there. All the folks around town were asleep in their beds, while visions of Trenary toast danced in their heads. But there was one place in town where the light still burned brightly. The man from Trenary was not feeling sprightly. He had put something off for day after day. Now on Christmas Eve night, just what could he say? He had no Christmas tree. The corner was bare. Where the tree should have stood, there was just nothing there. There was nothing he could do. It was now much too late. Once again on Christmas, he had disappointed his mate. Yes, his wife in her kerchief lay sleeping in her bed, while visions of Christmas trees danced in her head. Then suddenly he heard a noise from outside, so he ran to the door and opened it wide. The moon was shining brightly on the new fallen snow, and when he looked out the door, he saw $2 and a dough. Then what to his wondering eyes should appear? No, it wasn't Santa Claus and his flying reindeer. It was his very good friend Sulo and his pulp-hauling truck. He was racing the engine, for he was stuck in the muck. And he rocked that big truck till he finally broke free, and there on the trailer was a beautiful tree. Looked like a balsam that was just taken down. It had to be the nicest Christmas tree in town. "I bought it for you," Sulo said with a grin, as he ran his fingers through the beard on his chin. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and the man from Trenary laughed in spite of himself. Sulo's eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. There was a simple explanation for the red face, you know. It was a cold one that night, nearly 15 below. "Let's get the tree inside quickly," the man from Trinary said, "and let's do it quietly, for my wife is in bed." So through the front door they carried the tree and headed for the spot where they knew it should be. It was placed in the stand and looked so nice there, as it filled that corner which once looked so bare. The men spoke not a word, but went straight to their work. They decorated that tree, then Sulo turned with a jerk, and putting his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, out the front door he goes. He jumped in his truck and let out a whistle, and away they all flew down the road like a missile. And the man from Trinary was as happy as can be, as he went back in the room and admired his tree. "When my wife wakes up in the morning," he said, "she will be so happy as she rolls out of bed." And the man from Trinary turned out the light, saying Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. I'll be back with more Christmas memories after this 2-minute break. For some of our past Christmas shows, it was fun to talk with many of the people we see reporting the news and weather each day. And this morning, I want to share some memories with the people I've talked with through the years. As a little kid, did you get excited about Christmas? You know, did you write letters to Santa Claus?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Though there was this one time when we lived in our old house down in this, like, it was almost secluded area of Matunic, Rhode Island, and I was asleep and my sister and I had shared a room together at that point, and I heard footsteps, like heavy boots, footsteps in my living room. And I tried waking her up. She's 7, 8 years older than me. And I tried waking her up to say, like, hey, let's go catch Santa. And she was like, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't want to ruin the magic for you. Right. But I always remembered that because I was like, I had Santa in my house and I almost caught him, but I let him go.
Well, I remember one year I just got a snowboard for Christmas, and it wasn't a legit snowboard with bindings that you strap your feet on. It was kind of a child's snowboard, but we had these sand dunes in our neighborhood that we liked to play on. So in the winter time, and it was snowy, I would go out there and have fun, and so that was a really fun present that I got one year.
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, so my mom spent her childhood in Puerto Rico. I didn't, though, but I grew up in Florida.
Well, it was a big family gathering. You know, all the trick kids. There were 6 of us, so we had 8 people in our family, and we would all pile into the station wagon. And I don't think it had seat belts back then. It was just all of us piled in. I'm not sure how we all fit. And we went to Dayton, Ohio, and there was always a big gathering. My dad had 11 people in his family. He had 8 brothers and sisters, and my mom had a rather large family too. So we were all with aunts and uncles and grandparents, and there was always a big Christmas meal in the basement of the house, and just had a good time reconnecting with friends and family.
You know, I remember one Christmas I got a Johnny Express semi-truck, you know, one of those things that had a little remote control and you drive around, because I was really into trucks and so forth. Still am today, but you know, at that point, it was something really special.
My father's side of the family, there were no other children but my sister and I. Okay. But my uncle would dress up as Santa Claus and come over. Then we'd go over to my mother's side of the family, and Santa Claus would come over again. It would be like a cousin or a uncle that would dress up as Santa Claus, so we had a double dose.
Being in Upper Michigan the past few holiday seasons, I've never really felt such a sense of community around the holidays like I have here. Specifically for me, being from so many different places, especially New York, you know, it's a big city. No one really cares what their neighbor's doing for Christmas, as horrible as that sounds, but here everybody really cares. Everybody wants you know, their neighbor to have a hot meal, to have clothes to wear, the events at schools, just everything is a really beautiful time of year. So it's freezing outside, but everyone's really just kind of warm and together inside. People really care here, so I think that we're very lucky to spend the holidays here if you can.
I got electric train, which was really neat. It was a Lionel electric train, and every Christmas, my dad would set it up in the basement, and we'd keep it up for like the holidays into wintertime. That was always fun.
You know, we were always very involved members of St. Peter Cathedral, and so that was always a big part of our Christmas celebrations, Advent leading up to Christmas, of course. And so I always just remember the beauty of the cathedral, seeing that, helping decorate it sometimes, always being part of singing on Christmas Eve, playing music. You know, I think that really stands out to me as a memory growing up of Christmas.
Was there ever a year when you were disappointed that you didn't get a gift that you were hoping for?
Actually, yeah, I always remember I've always wanted the Barbie Jeep, and I never got it for Christmas, and I kept asking for it for about 3 years, and I never got it.
When I was in college, I worked a few Christmas seasons at UPS, and so I was always out delivering packages, you know, Christmas Eve, right to the last minute. And so that makes you definitely appreciate the job of a delivery driver and the whole delivery system. So there was some good memories from doing that.
I think the times with my grandmother were the most special.
What would you typically do?
We would make ornaments every year. You know, one year we just painted seashells and put string on them. Another year we collected pine cones and put glitter all over them. And sometimes we would get the little kits where you throw everything together with glue dots. But we always had an ornament every year, and then we'd give it out to family and friends, and usually my school teachers.
Did your family get very festive at Christmas? Was Christmas a big day for your family?
Yeah, Christmas was always a really big day. My mom went all out. Getting a Christmas tree was a huge ordeal. We had really huge ceilings, and so we got a massive Christmas tree, and half the time we couldn't get it into the house. And cut it, you know, we always went and cut it down from a tree farm, and it was a whole day ordeal. And then decorating it took hours upon hours.
Well, one of the big things for us is this was in the day and age when Mom did all of the cooking for Christmas Eve. So she was wise. She decided to leave the Christmas tree decorating until December 24th. That way, we were decorating the tree while she was busy cooking, so we didn't really decorate until the 24th, and then we didn't bring the tree down until the first part of January. So we were one of those families that you didn't see the tree up at Thanksgiving.
Well, a big memory that we have is we would open up all of our gifts from Santa the morning of Christmas Day. And we would all have our jammies on and would go through our stockings. And we got an ornament from Santa Claus every year. So I have 25 ornaments on my tree, all of different life events, because each year Santa brought an ornament that represented what happened that year. So
Christmas was always a big deal, especially to my mom. She made sure we had everything decorated, you know, every floor of the house had to be ready to go. I still remember she again called me this year and said, we have these little bushes out front, and she's short. She's just about barely 5 foot, and so she can't reach all the way. And so my job was always go out with her and make sure she could get the lights on either side of the bush. So a lot of decorating went into Christmas.
Being on a farm, you didn't get a chance, the opportunity to really be part of the community. So it was a lot of family opportunity that we spent a lot of time together. One of the things that was an annual tradition, because we lived out in the country, was the opportunity to go out and cut down our own Christmas tree, which led to the occasional fight. Yeah, you know, some of the trees were a little wimpy, some didn't sit quite right, some had things growing in them. So the annual tree hunt was always fun.
My sister and I would always wake up super early. We'd get our brothers awake, we'd all go downstairs, and that's when we first opened up our stockings, and we immediately wanted to open presents. But of course, since our grandparents were there, we had to wait for breakfast to be made, and we had to wait till they finished their coffee before we could finally open presents. And I remember us being so anxious that we just were like, Grandma, Grandpa, finish your coffee, let's go, let's open presents. And so eventually then we got to open them, and it was just a great, great time together.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those memories, including seeing some faces we haven't seen in a while. You know, through the years, I've had fun with the story, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Sometimes simply reading the Christmas classic, and other times offering my own special version of a story. This morning, I'd like to share one of those special versions from a couple of years ago. We'll have that right after this commercial break. Today's show is about memories. But I do have one news story for you. Actually, it's a new version of a very old story. I think you'll remember it. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and in each UP house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that Santa Claus soon would be there. The TV6 staff was all comfy in their beds, while visions of pizzas danced in their heads. For news director Andrew Lacombe, it had been a challenging year, and as he lay in his bed, he was glad Christmas was here. When out in the yard there arose such a clatter, he sprang from his bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window he flew like a flash, tore open the curtains, and threw up the sash. The moon, shining down on the new fallen snow, made it look just like midday on the people below. And what to his wondering eyes did appear but the morning news team in a sleigh pulled by deer. There was Tia and Mandy and Elizabeth in view. Jennifer, Michael, and videographer Rob was there too. "We're doing a special show," they all shouted with glee. "Something very special for TV6 viewers to see. We're interviewing Santa. What a joy that will be. Santa Claus will be there live on TV." And then they were off as the deer pulled the sleigh. They had no trouble getting there, for the deer knew the way. And when they arrived, they went quickly inside. They were anxious to meet Santa after their very cold ride. "Where is he said, "Tia. I'm too excited to wait. I really want to see him, and I hope he's not late." "I hope it's not the weather," Jennifer said, "that's keeping him away. Travel in a snowstorm is difficult, even with Rudolph guiding his sleigh." "Now you have me worried," said Mandy, looking sad. "If he doesn't make it, it would just be so bad." "Don't worry," said Elizabeth. "He'll be here, I know. Santa won't be turned back because of some snow. He's made it every year, traveling round the world in a night. He'll be here to visit. It will definitely be all right." And while the news team put their patience to the test, a sleigh passed over Marquette, heading toward the west. With a little old driver so lively and quick, it was clear in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of that building, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. So up to the TV6 roof the reindeer they flew, delivering Santa for a visit with the morning news crew. And down below they heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As the news team excitedly started looking around down the chimney, Santa Claus came with a bound. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. "Oh, Santa, you're here," Tia shouted with glee. "Come join us over here by our special Christmas tree." Mandy said, "Come quickly. We have questions for you. So many questions about the things that you do." And so it began. They fired questions galore about reindeer, his travels, the North Pole, and more. They talked about Mrs. Santa and the toy-making elves. And of course, they had some questions all about themselves. "I've been good this year," said Tia. "I hope you can see. What's in that big sack? Are there presents for me?" "Me too," said Mandy. "I don't want to be missed. Please tell me I'm not on your naughty list." And Michael joined in saying, "What about me? I'm hoping for something special under my Christmas tree." Then Elizabeth announced it's time for Santa to go. He has many more miles in the cold and the snow. And Jennifer said, "I have a weather chart for you. We want you to travel safely. That's the least we can do." And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Hope you enjoyed our story. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Today we've talked about Christmas, including Santa Claus, family memories about this day, and a special story for this season. But in closing, let's remember how the Christmas story began from the Gospel of Luke. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no room available for them in the inn. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. And that is the story of the first Christmas, many, many years ago. I'll be back in a minute. Well, it's time for us to make way for the Today Show. Keep in mind you can also see our report on the internet at UpperMichiganSource.com and streaming on TV6 Plus on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. I hope you enjoyed our Christmas memories this morning, and perhaps they brought back some memories for you. Let me extend my very best wishes to you for a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. I hope it's a wonderful time for you and your family. Let's get together again next Sunday morning.